Okay, we've played a few drafts now in our challenge to get to Mythic as quickly and cheaply as we can, so I'm going to start showing statistics for how we've been doing. At the top of this page, you can see the investments we've made so far. All we've had to do is put in a $4.99 welcome bonus. That gave us 2,500 gems. We've played 3 drafts with those gems. After 3 drafts, we are sitting at Silver Tier 2. We have 2,400 gems in our account and 2,250 gold. Our win rate is sitting at 61%, and we've paid essentially $1.66 per draft, which is pretty sweet. Now, the first 2 drafts, I did post the videos for, but I'm not going to post the video for the 3rd draft. It's just taking way too long to edit these videos and put them together, put them online. It takes about 2 hours to play a draft. Then it takes another 3 hours maybe to edit the video, take out all the coughing, the burping, the inane comments. And then it takes about an hour to build the video, and then it takes about an hour to upload it to YouTube because the file size is just massive. Like there's several gigabytes each because they're 1080p. So in short, it just takes way too long to do every draft, and I'm 3 or 4 drafts a day, so it's just not possible to show all the videos. I'll show as much as I can. I'm not going to show draft number 3. In draft number 3, we were a black-white clerics deck. We were splashing red. We went 3 and 3. We had 3 red modal lands, and we were splashing a magmatic channeler, which was pretty sweet. We had no trouble using the splash and getting our channeler into play early. The problem was when we used the channeler to try to find what we needed, we kept whiffing. We just couldn't find what we needed. Like we needed it to find lands, couldn't get lands. We needed to find a spell, couldn't get a spell. So it was very unfortunate. It just didn't work out. But anyways, we went 3 and 3, which is fine. As soon as you fall to 2 wins or less in a tournament, your gems just start getting totally destroyed. So we're moving on to draft number 4 now, which I will show the video for. Let's get going. Okay, we have opened pack 1 of our round 4 of the challenge. We've opened how many times have we opened Pathways? We're not first picking a multicolored land. The Thought Thief is probably the strongest card in this pack, but it's gold. And it's simply against my policies to first pick a gold card. As much as you might say, like, oh, I'm not going to let it, color the remainder of my picks, it absolutely is going to. We're going to be totally tilted towards black-blue, even if it's not open at all. I think the Acquisition Expert is a really strong card, and it's single colors, so we're happy taking it. This will probably put someone into rogues, we'll keep that in mind, but the Arbor Mage is not as good. Feed the Swarm is a nice removal spell, but I don't think it's as good as the Acquisitions Expert. This card just does so much for you. Let's take the Acquisition Expert. Okay. Onto Inversion is not a modal land I'm really a fan of. Like, it's not a priority. Like, if you fit this in, fine. But it's so expensive. I've only ever had it cast against me maybe twice in all the drafts I've done. And it can be good, but we're definitely not going to prioritize it over more reasonably costed spells like the Harry's Binding. Nice removal spell. Spoils of Adventure might be nice too, but it's gold, it's blue-white. And these commons are all pretty weak. So, except for Nahiri's Binding. So we're pretty happy to scoop up a Binding here. Okay. Wow, this reminds me of the last draft I just did. Check out Tourney 3 of the video. We could scoop up a Valakut Awakening. The reason we did it in pack 3 that time was because there was really nothing else good in the pack. But in this case, there is a Feed the Swarm, which is great removal. Lethal Form Blight can help you splash, but that's usually not important. The Pack Beast is nice, fits in a lot of decks. We would like to maybe scoop one up in most cases, and this Skydancer is okay, but Feed the Swarm is premium removal. Can kill an enchantment, which is super relevant. Cards like Bubble Snare or Roost of Drakes, this just eats them alive. So, Feed the Swarm, nice. Wow, the black is looking good. Now there's a Deadly Alliance, another great black removal spell. There is a Kabira Takedown, which is a nice removal spell in white as well. It's also a modal land, which is a good thing too. But I think instead of splitting our cards like 2 black, 2 white, I'd rather just commit to one color. If black's looking very open, great. I mean, if white continues to look open, we can move into clerics, but I'd rather just lock up one color here and make it clear that black isn't open. And then we don't have to play black-white. Like, we still haven't seen a lot of packs here, so Deadly Alliance it is. So white has been looking good. I mean, the pair tactician ain't bad either. That was in the last pack. But it's really only good if you have warriors to go with it. One creature, a couple solid removal spells, and a binding. Well, there's another binding. I think it's better than the Disciple. Even in a black deck, I'm not sure I'd run it. Although I do kind of like the idea of maybe sacking the Acquisitions Expert to it. Maybe that makes it good. White has been flowing though, and this is a pick 5 binding. If we do end up black-white though, we might like the Cleric, honestly. I usually don't run this card. Like, I just don't think making your opponent sack something, anything they want, is usually that strong. But we're off to a good start with removal. Let's just take the Disciple and see if it works out. Okay, we're not going to take Oblivion's Hunger. It's just really only good in black-green, and only if you have a ton of counters payoffs. I would say green has probably been flowing the least of all the colors. I mean, Canopy Bailoff is nice, but is it a reason to take a green card? I still think these are both playable white cards. Maybe white is where we want to go, and if we pick up some modal lands, we'll be happy with the Raptor. The Farsight Attempt isn't the worst, but I think the Raptor could be better for us. Yeah, take the Raptor. Nice, late Blood Priest. We like that. It's black. We like that too. Definitely the best card in this pack. I mean, if we are red, we might like the Bugcatcher. It's a really good creature. Great aggressive decks. Good, especially red-white, red-black. But red-black, this would be just as good, I think. Plus black-white, this is even better, so it's going to be the Blood Priest. We could end up Clerics again here. That was what we did in the last tournament, but we're just taking the best cards, and you have to follow what the draft is doing. So if the table is telling us they don't want to play black-white, fine, that's what we'll play, and we'll scoop up the best black-white cards, and we'll have a solid deck. Black's just so open. We're taking Zoth Consumption. Great spell, especially if we end up black-white, because it's a way you can gain life. Not really close. I guess Mind Drain gains you life too, but it's not as good of a card. Not even close. The Sellsword's not particularly great either, especially if we're black-white. So I think Zoth Consumption is good. Let's see what's wheeled. Okay, so a couple crummy blue cards. The Glacial Grasp is playable. There was also a Pathway and a Thought Thief. Those are both obviously gone. Red card wheeled, it's terrible though. White card wheeled, it's playable. And there weren't many playable white cards in this pack. I guess the Cleric is gone, which is a little concerning. Maybe someone else has moved into Clerics. We haven't seen a ton of Clerics. Like, we have the Blood Priest here, but let's just keep picking black cards and keep that option open. Like, these two white cards are very forgettable. And here he's binding is nice, but if we open some sort of bomb in another color, that's probably where we're going to go. So I think I'm just going to take the Mucklord here, even though the Banneret would be better for our deck if we were black-white. Okay. And if we were black-white, we probably wouldn't like the Felidar either. So let's take the Blight. Like, maybe we end up trying to splash like we did in the last tournament. Didn't work out well for us. Wow, late takedown. Okay, we're black-white. This should not still be here. This is a very good card. We already have a Raptor. Black-white it is again. Alright, let's get organized. Lethal Form Blight, probably not playing. Put our Modal Lands here. Sideboard. Relic Axe, who knows? Binding. Okay, pretty solid start to black-white. Now, there is a Deadly Alliance here, which is a great removal spell. On its face, better than the Celebrant. But the Celebrant really drives the black-white decks. It's the most important common when you're in that archetype, I think. And we don't have any yet. We also don't have payoffs really for gaining life, but those will come. The thing is that Because that the 3/2 cleric did not wheel in the first pack makes me think that clerics might not be open. We're off to a good start with removal. I mean, we got Deadly Alliance, Feed the Swarm, Nahiri's Binding. Let's take the Celebrant. It's very important for our deck. Okay, and now it's either Healer or Blood Priest. The Kitesail Cleric I'm really not crazy about. This could easily wheel. It's really only good in like aggressive builds. Maybe you have a Red-White Warriors deck going on. Black-White is typically not that aggressive. Like it's more grindy, wants to kill our opponent with life gain, life drain, just wear them down. What's better? Like the thing is, if you're clerics, the Blood Priest might not be the greatest because you're mostly clerics, so it doesn't drain for much. Whereas the healer has vigilance and can consistently gain life. So, seeing as you have a Blood Priest, I think we just take the healer. The healer is probably more likely to wheel. But, again, I fear we're not the only player in clerics. Wow. Thwart the Grave or another takedown. I forgot the takedown. We already have one. I think it's got to be Thwart. Really strong card. Reanimate. Lots of enter the battlefield triggers in our deck. We can reanimate the Disciple, for example. We can reanimate the Celebrant, the Raptor, bounce more Lance. Acquisitions Expert is great to reanimate. Yeah. It's going to be Thwart, but hey, that last takedown wheeled. I seriously doubt it'll happen again, but who knows? Okay, another healer. I have to say, the way things are going, we're a little light on top-end threats. We probably don't want to play this Mucklord. We've got 2-drops now. We've got early plays. We probably don't want to play this Relic Axe either. So we've got removal. I'm really interested in, like, top-end threats in black and white. Shepherd of Heroes would be nice. Alright, really nothing here except for Mind Drain. We've got better removal than Smite. I doubt we play Mind Drain, but who knows. Okay, now we'll take the Kitesail Cleric. It is a cleric. We might like the draw and blood price, though. Yeah, I think I actually like the draw more. Honestly, like, if we don't have a lot of top end, we're going to have to just wear our opponent down. Removal, synergy. The cleric could be useful, but I think I'd rather have blood price. This isn't particularly good to reanimate either. We might actually play Blood Price in this deck if things keep going like this. Okay, Blood Priest, nice. Nice early play. We like that. Good to reanimate. Nothing here again. Now we'll take that Kitesail Cleric since it wheeled. Maybe like with our curve, we do end up more aggressive here. Maybe that's what we go for, like the way things are going here. You can definitely build a more aggressive Cleric's deck. Usually they're more grindy, like the core Celebrant doesn't exactly lend itself to attacking, but I mean, the way our deck's looking, we're definitely a more aggressive deck. We could run a little bit less land, maybe. Solid removal, solid creatures. It could happen. Maybe like we just get 3 Kibera Outriders at the top and then just try to push as much damage as we can. On that note, I think I'm going to take the Sellsword here. Practice Tactics could be okay removal, but we're going to be mostly clerics and we have pretty good removal. I think we've got 5 removal spells, so Sellsword could be a nice aggressive addition to our deck. Get our party size up for the Blood Priest, another Raptor, something we can drop early. This deck's looking pretty aggressive as far as clerics go. And we haven't picked up any of the clerics uncommons, really. Which is kind of concerning. So it's like the power level is a little reduced if the game goes longer. Like if we could get a Relic Vial and a Cleric of Life's Bond, we could just absolutely pound our opponents into the ground here. Okay. Well, no Relic Valve, no Cleric of Life's Bond, but there is another Celebrant. We don't really have any payouts for gaining life, but hopefully that's going to change in this pack. Black-White was really open in the first round. We could take the Gloom Hunter, but I think the Celebrant is the more reliable pick here. Yeah. It's just better than the Gloom Hunter. Okay, and now more removal options. We don't have a Vanquish yet. It is solid. Suzuri Shelter is good too. Do we have anything we really want to protect? I mean, we do have two Raptors which can bounce land. It's got to be the Shelter. It's something cheap we can bounce and still use on the same turn. So I think it's got to be the Shelter over Vanquish and Nahiri's Binding, although I'd like either of those to wheel. Could definitely happen. But with Double Raptor, yeah, this will help us get our land count down too. We can just play these modal lands. Wow, speaking of beatdown, there's a Maul of the Skyclaves. This turns anything into an unstoppable threat. I mean, +2/+2, flying and first strike. Yeah. This deck is going to be beat down. Scoop that up. There's also, it should be noted, a Marauding Blight Piece, which would be great, but it's not a Maul. I don't care how many clerics you have. Alright, and now here's a top end threat we can play, Shepherd of Heroes. Oh, there it is. I wouldn't mind something like this in our deck, 1/5 drop that we can play. But I think the way things are looking, we're going to be very aggressive. And it is 5 mana, but it's still a great card. Gain some life. 3/4 evasive flying threat. Yes, please. Alright. Now, our options are not as interesting. We could take the Gloom Hunter, but it doesn't hit very hard if we're trying to be aggressive. I think I'm actually more interested in this. Farsight Adept is 3/3, it hits hard. We could take the Kite Sail, but we already have a Maul, which kind of fills that. Although we did just lose in the one of the last tournaments to Maul and Kite Sail on the same turn, hitting us for like 12 in the air. Okay, another Shepherd of Heroes. Definitely don't want any more expensive cards, but we'll take the Shepherd. Do we take a third Shepherd and sort of pivot here? I don't think so. I think this deck wants to be very aggressive. But what else would we take? There's nothing here we want. So we'll take the Shepherd. We'll keep that option there. Like with triple Shepherd now, we could totally pivot and say, yeah, let's grind it out. Just play our Shepherds and win. We haven't picked up any of the Cleric uncommons, though, that make the deck really grindy. And there's a McKinney Stampede, which would be great in an aggressive deck. Something we can bounce with our Raptors. Yeah, Stampede. Okay. Nice. We could go with just 17 land. These three, maybe one Shepherd. Maybe 2 Shepherds. We'll see. Maybe we don't need 2 core Celebrants. Like, we don't have really payouts for gaining life. At all. Maybe the Celebrants just plain old go. Is that heresy in a Cleric's deck? Probably, right? I mean, what reason do we have to possibly want to gain life? Like, these core Celebrants are awful in red-white, for example, because they're just not aggressive enough. Like, dealing 1 damage is not enough. You want to be beating down. So, yeah, and there's another cheap removal spell we can take, the Binding Wield. Like, we're just not going to go for that. Subtle Strike even might make the deck. We cut our slower spells like Mind Drain, Blood Price. Maybe even play a second Sellsword. Cut the core Celebrants. The Demon's Disciple might be better this way because if we're trading early, like, we're more likely to hit something we want to kill. I don't know if that's a good play either, though. Maybe we cut that too. I do like the idea of Acquisitions Expert and then sack it to the Disciple. And with Double Raptor, we probably want to run Like this deck's going to be really low curve, really aggressive. It'll be interesting to see how many lands we want. So usually I build my deck by just stripping it and then rebuilding it, but I think in this case we're pretty clear on the direction we want to go. So that's not really necessary. Those are our modal lands. So that's way too much land. We cut 2 plains, 10, 19 lands, still too much. 1 more plains. So we've got 9 and 9. We can play, with Double Raptor, we can play these modal lands early, and we're fine with it. Thwart the Grave, we've got 8 clerics, 3 warriors, a wizard, and a rogue. Should be at least 1 cheaper, maybe 2. The same for Deadly Lines, so we can kind of shift the curve this way. Or those 2 cards anyways. And that is 40 cards. We are 15 creatures, which is not as creature heavy as I thought this deck might be. We've only got 1 reanimate spell. Maybe we want to play another creature here, but what would it be? Like, we could go 3 shepherds, but I don't think that's a good idea. But we are running 18 land. I guess we can make it work. We could cut maybe Subtle Strike, get our creature count up a little bit. Usually when you're playing equipment like this, you want a high creature count, so you always have something to equip. Really nothing else here we want to play. And we've got 14, 18 land here. Even if we cut a land and went to, say, 39, what would we add? One of these Core Celebrants? Just not aggressive enough for us. So we want to be able to play land reliably early. We definitely don't want to be slowed down by lands coming in tapped or anything like that. So I think we go with another plains. These are double white. The only thing that's double black is Thwart, and it's going to be coming down much later. So let's go with another white source here and give this a try. Okay, we are into game 1 with our black-white deck. Let's keep this. We've got some land, we've got some creatures, removal, nice. I have a few concerns with this deck. Number 1, for an aggro deck, I'm not sure we have a high enough creature count. We do have some ways to push quite a bit of damage with the Stampede and with them all the Skyclaves, but I'm not sure our creature count is high enough, and I'm also not sure that our cheap creatures are good enough to push damage efficiently here. So we're going to find out if this deck is good or not pretty quickly. I think drawing cards like Maul of the Skyclaves or bouncing the Stampede is going to be a huge part of if we can win or not with this deck. But this hand's looking good so far. Night Runner. I think we're going to disable this Night Runner and get in for the kill here. We can't play the Raptor, bounce a land, and do it all at the same time. So I think we just disable this. Swing. We'll play a land. So on the following turn, we can play the Raptor, bounce the takedown. Or sorry, we didn't play the takedown. Bounce a land, play a land, then use our takedown. And we don't even really have to do that, but yeah, let's do it. Alright, he's at 5, looking good so far. We can tap down any creatures he plays. We've got a reanimate spell here. Nothing in the graveyard yet. Alright, that looks like GG's. Ow. That was quick. That is how we picture this deck working. That's for sure. Sweet. Okay, we are into game two. We have another keep here. I think we actually want to drop the Kitesail Cleric right away and start hitting him for one here in the air. Start bringing down our opponent as quickly as possible. It also puts another creature in place so the takedown can be more effective. Now we might actually need to play the takedown as a land if we don't draw any to play the Shepherd. But that doesn't change our early game plans. Cleric of Chill Depths is annoying. It can stop the healer. It can stop a lot of our small dinky attackers like our 2/1s and stuff. We can still gain life though, and this doesn't tap when it attacks. So the cleric's ability is annoying. We're definitely going to have to take it out maybe next turn if he doesn't play a better threat. I think the key here is going to be being aggressive, but we don't want to like throw away removal on subpar creatures if we aren't going to win this game quickly. Like if he doesn't play anything here, then I'm more interested in killing this Cleric of Chill Depths. But we might just have to live with it there for now. Black Bloom Rogue. Well, that's good. We can pump up the healer now and make it a 4/4 with the Outrider, which will survive if he double blocks. So that's a nice draw. And then we can swing with the Kite Tail and the healer. Bringing him down. So he's playing black blue. Looks like black blue rogues. He's got a black bloom rogue. A couple modal lands here. He put this the vision. I guess he needs the mana. I really wouldn't mind almost the Outrider trading with the Cleric of Chill Depths, but I think it's better just to kill the black bloom rogue. Blood Chief Source on our healer is annoying. And the pack. Okay, so we do have enough here to blow him out if he double blocks the Outrider. Let's say he's probably going to double block with the Cleric of Chill Depths and one of these two creatures, I would assume. And then we respond with Kabira Takedown, kill one of them, blow him out. We'll also play the Raptor here the same way we did last turn, bounce the land so we have the mana. It's always nice to do this as well when he's tapped out. We can't kill this Cleric of Chill Depths and prevent the ability, unfortunately, but we can still blow him out. Goes to 11. So a big flyer here would probably be our worst nightmare. That's the last thing we want to see. There's a little flyer. And he chooses to do it on his turn. Okay. So now I think I'm down for a feed on this Black Moon Rogue, and then we can swing with these two. I'd probably keep the Raptor back. Or is it more important to just kill him in the air here? I think that's actually better. Gate, huh? Okay. Do we go with the Raptor here? We don't have the land yet to play the Shepherd. And it prevents him from double blocking the Outrider, so... No. Let's just swing for one. I want to see what he plays. What's his last card here? We'll definitely go with the Outrider next turn, as well as the Kaiso Cleric if nothing changes. Ooh, he's going to copy his Sky Dancer. We should have killed it. Okay. He is filling our graveyard for our reanimate spell if we do happen to pick it up. There's our other Shepherd without the land to cast it. This is why I was hesitating playing these 5-drops and why we're not playing a third Shepherd. But I think we still go here. We go here. So if we draw a land, we're happy. If we draw spells, we're happy. We're in good shape. That's good. This is going to force him to basically sack his Black Moon Rogue, I think. We'll even sack the Disciple, I think, so we can attack with the Blood Priest. He chooses to sack his Defender in the air, so that's fine. Let's go like this. He could be flashing in a... Like, with 5 mana up, I'm kind of concerned that he has the 3/3 flyer with flash. I mean, he chose to do nothing on his turn, but he might have nothing, and even if he does have it, he still takes 2, and then we drop the Shepherd. Another Sky Dancer, that's fine. We are getting milled. We're down to 19 cards, but not really significant. And finish him with the Shepherds. We're at 29 life. He's at 3. Wow. Sweet. No, our last Shepherd. Good game. Okay, we're into the next game. We've got another keep here. We've got 3 lands technically. Perfect. I'm not sure what I want to do here in terms of playing our lands. I kind of want to get the Kitesail Cleric out quickly again. But if we do that, we don't have the land to play the Acquisition Expert on turn 2. Unless we draw some sort of basic land in our next card, which I would really like given all these modal lands. I think we still roll with the Cleric as we did last game. Start pinging him in the air, hopefully. When the Acquisitions Expert does come down, if we have a Cleric in play, it will take 2 cards out of their hand. Interesting. Mill deck, okay, he drops a Wind Robber. So we probably actually don't want to attack here. I think we're furthest away from Zoc consumption. We need a Black Source, so let's just drop that. And then I'd rather just these trade than get milled here. So I think we just hold back. This is the first game where we haven't been able to start pushing damage right away, which is not a good thing. But our hand's still good. It's a Riptide, okay? So now I think it's the expert. Let's take a card out of his hand. Yumara Wizard or Malakir Rebirth. 2 modal lands, huh? I think it's got to be the Rebirth, honestly. Yeah, Rebirth. Attacks. We could have taken the Wizard, but it doesn't strike me as a threat, really. Like, it could be, but we've got removal spells for it. I think we drop the Stampede as a land now. And play the Sellsword. And we can't attack, unfortunately. I might regret not picking this Yumara Wizard. It just seemed like the Rebirth seemed more useful to him in the early game, that's for sure. Like, it's a good spell. It's a 1 mana spell. The fact that we would know it was in his hand would make it a little weaker, but I don't know. Had to pick one. We took the cheaper card. All right, not much going on yet in this game. Let's just drop the Shepherd, gain 4 life, 6 life, actually. No attacks. We can bounce this Stampede with the Raptor and then maybe get in for a bunch. Feed on our Shepherd. Gives his Wizard flying. Yumara Wizard is a problem too. He swings for 4. Nice. Good turn for him. Hopefully he's a little out of steam here. So we could play the Raptor, bounce the Mesa, play a Swamp, bind the Wizard, and then we'd have a 2/2. I really don't like this Windrider Wizard in play. Like, this is a card that can just rip you apart over time. If he keeps casting spells, pitching land, it's just going to give him so much advantage. But binding won't really stop that from happening. Like, its ability still works. So I think it's going to be this. And we still can't attack, unfortunately. Myriad Construct kicked as a 5/5. Wow, that's big. And he attacks. That seems a little aggressive. I guess he can sack this. Do we have 8 in our grave? No. So he's kind of throwing away his Wind Robber here. That's fine with me. Could we do a profitable block on the Riptide? No, I don't think so. And our life total is still pretty high here, so take it. So do we go for the Stampede now? We could attack 2 flyers, and the Sellsword would bring him to 4, 7 plus 5, 12. You go to 3 if he doesn't block anything. We'd still have a block back with the Acquisitions Expert. And we'd have a bit of an air advantage here. So I think this is good. He does block. That's nice for us. End the turn. So we've still got some stuff going on, but he's into his top deck. So, ooh, that's a good one for him. We might have to chump here. We'd be taking 7, which could be a bit too much. But what does he bounce? I mean, all 3 of these cards, if he bounces them, he's going to bounce his wizard. That's the right play. Okay, that's good. I was going to say, what is he going to bounce of ours? But he gets to bounce his wizard. That's a nice play for him. So if we don't block here, we go to 7. I think we chump and then swing. We'd still have a block the sellsword on the geyser mage. We could swing for 3. And then we can maybe even give our sellsword protection from blue and maybe go for the win here at some point. Or we just take 7 and go to 8. He doesn't have another spell to kick at the moment, but that could change with the Riptide, at which point we would chump it then. So I think we just eat this. There's nothing he can do here. I'm not sure why. Oh, he could play his wizard as a land. That's why. The Yumari wizard is a modal land, so he could play it as a land or a spell. I don't know why he would ever play it as a land. Pass the turn here, bro. Now the Raptor is good. We can block. We can bounce Zoth, but we don't have a mana to cast it yet. It is a 2/2 flyer though, which is very relevant at this point. We probably just drop the Raptor, drop the Sellsword, don't bounce any land after this attack. I don't believe we played a land, so we can just bounce a. Do we want to bounce the Zoth consumption? If we do it like this, sorry, if we do it like this, we can bounce it. We'll still have the mana to. Yeah, we might as well bounce the consumption. Like we don't have the mana to cast it yet, but we might top deck 2 lands here. We might even play the Shelter as a land just to finish him. Okay, I assume he's going to loot away a land here. That would be pretty helpful. Another Geyser Mage. So he found something useful. And he swings for 2 in the air. Or not. There's another land, one more, and we got Zoth consumption, baby. I think we want to protect our Raptors, though, from this Windrider Wizard. So whatever one he blocks, we won't show him the land yet. We'll just attack, 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 attack. Okay, so he's dead next turn. We've got some good blocks. He could kill a creature, bounce something, swing with his Riptide. We could still. It might be close. Like, if he has 2 useful cards here, he might be able to kill us. But it doesn't look like he has it, so he's going to heal the research, gives his wizard flying. He can do one more thing here. Does he have enough? Doesn't look like it. Good game. Okay, we are into the next game. This is another keep. So far, we've been rolling right along. Like that last game was the first one where we really couldn't get in for damage early. We had to play a bit more of a patient and tactical game, but it still worked out very well. The Raptors have been absolutely huge for us, bouncing lands, even when we're not bouncing modal lands. Just the fact that if you miss a land drop, you can use the Raptor to basically add another mana to your mana pool by bouncing a land and then playing it has been huge. So we've been doing very well so far. I'm pretty happy with how this is going. That is an annoying blocker, but we can take care of that now with Subtle Strike on his turn, because on his turn, this is just going to be a 2-1. So we can kill it. I don't think we attack here. We're just going to play the Adept. I don't even want to use the Demon's Disciple. I don't particularly care about the Mesa Links, so let's just play a big 3/3 Eater for 3 mana and draw a card. He draws a card too, of course, but I still like the Farsighted Adept in these kinds of decks. Well, so much for taking it out with Subtle Strike. We can take that out with Subtle Strike. So I'm thinking just Subtle Strike the Blightblade, put the counter on the Adept, and swing. Whatever, if he plays enough, whatever creature he plays next, like the Mesa Links with a counter on it, or the creature he plays, is going to be a good target for the Disciple. So I think we just kill this Blightblade and swing. Do we play the Takedown as a land? I think so. We've got so much removal in hand. We just want to get up to enough lands for the Shepherd. We've got, yeah, we've got 2 Raptors which can bounce land. So really, let's just get our land count up a bit here. There's an Ox, okay. So now we can actually Disciple and feed. I think we want to feed on this because it's 2 mana as opposed to 5, so we only lose 2 life. And then he's going to have to sack the Ox. Well, even though the Disciple is a 3/1, deals a bit more damage, we can attack this turn with the healer, so we want to sack the Disciple. Nectar Pot, you can gain him some life. That's a little annoying. Ping. And a Visionary, okay. So we can do a couple things here. If we Acquisitions Expert first, we're gonna have a party size of 3, so we get to see his entire hand, and that'll also lower the cost of Deadly Alliance. Although that doesn't really matter, we have enough mana either way. But let's see what's in his hand before we decide what to do here. Emeria's Call, and he's 1 away from casting it. Ah, ah. All right, now let's blow him out. Do we attack with the healer as well? He's got a takedown and a Mesa Links in hand. I think we just go with the Farsighted Adept. We'll make it look like we don't have anything, and when he double blocks, we'll blow him out. He does not double block. That's fine. Takes 4. We do have to worry a bit about the takedown on the Shepherd of Heroes. This is such a good card. I find that I haven't played this since the set first came out when I managed to draft it, but it's really, really good. 2 Angels. All your creatures get indestructible until end of turn. Stomper. Okay, that's something we can definitely take out with Deadly Alliance. What is this? The takedown. We'll let him decide what to bounce. We don't want to give him more information than we have to. Okay. There it is, baby. Our best card, and we finally drew it. We haven't drawn it all tournament, so I'm pretty happy with that. We could just throw it on the Adept and try to kill him. We could put it on the Acquisitions Expert and then swing with all 3. I mean, the most he can kill is 1 creature. I guess that's fine. It'll also get his creature count down for the takedown. I don't think this is a good trade. If we're not attacking with that, we're not attacking with this. Damn, I shouldn't have put it on the acquisitions expert then. Yeah, we're going here and we're going here. Let's go. It's fine. That was a misplay. That wasn't a good trade. I shouldn't have put it on the expert. I should have just put it on the power side def and smashed. I don't know why I did that. So now he's going to get his creature count up a bit here. Links, okay. Still not enough to kill the acquisitions expert. Or the shepherd. So let's play it. The raptor can block and brings his creature count up to 4, so he's going to survive another turn here. He can kill the shepherd with the takedown now, but okay. This is really just a matter of time, I feel. We're not going to be throwing away other creatures in bad trades. We'll just play the Kitesail Cleric. If it gets through, he's dead. If he doesn't play a land here, he's got 1 life. We have 2 air attackers now, but if he has a card in hand, I don't see how we attack with both, though. Gambler. So that should be game. Right? He's got no way to gain life. Yeah, good game. Okay, we are into game 5. We're 4-0. We're rolling right along. Pretty happy with how this deck has performed. I mean, it didn't really go as we wanted it to go because it doesn't have the clerics sort of payoffs that you usually want, like the uncommons. Even the rares are so strong in the cleric deck. So we kind of pivoted a little bit and just built a really aggressive low curve deck, and we've had success with it. And I find that if your deck kind of goes wrong, like if it doesn't work out sort of as planned, like a low curve deck, and just in general, it doesn't matter what color pair you're in. Just a low curve deck with lots of aggressive cheap creatures will give you success. Like you might not 7-0 with it, but it's kind of a good backup plan in a lot of cases. And it speaks to how just sort of solid principles in deck building can really give you wins, even if you maybe don't have the cards that you'd like to have. Anyways, this hand, I don't think we can keep it. Like, we could play Shelter turn 1 and then Sellsword turn 2, but we don't have any black sources. Thwart is double black. I think we have to mulligan here. Wow. Exact same problem with worse cards. Yikes. Maybe we should have kept that last hand. I don't know. We're 4-0. I guess we can afford a loss here. I don't even know if we come down with the Cleric on turn 1. I'd like to Subtle Strike something, maybe make it a 2-2. It could be good sacrifice fodder for the Disciple if we find black. We're not going to play the Stampede as a land right away. Try to get some card advantage here. Oh, our opponent mulligan as well. That makes me feel a little better. A nice 2-drop. And now we need black. Badly. Uh-huh. Here we go. Now he's definitely going to block. We're going to blow him out. We can minus this, put a counter on the Cleric. He may not block. I would imagine he would. Okay. Sorry, minus this, put a counter on our flyer. That worked out well. Seafloor Stalker, huh? Well, yeah, I guess we just get him to sack that and keep swinging here. Don't have much else going on. Guys are mage, okay. So now I don't think we attack in the ground. We'll just go in the air. We have enough for Stampede now. And almost Zoth consumption as well. If he has Royal Eruption here, that would hurt because we would lose the counter on our cleric, and it's dealing quite a bit of damage here. He could also have a Living Tempest again, but we really have nothing else going on. Let's attack. Okay. Okay, so now I think, unless he plays a creature here, we're gonna Stampede and swing with both. It'll get him within Zoth consumption range if he doesn't jump on the healer. And ooh, never mind. Let's just throw the maul on the healer now. Four, vigilance, lifelink, flying, first strike, vigilance. Yeah, this creature ain't bad. Oh, and he's dead next turn if we hit a land here. Shell shield. Oh no. Good game. All right, we've got a keep here. We don't have any creatures in hand except for the Shepherd, which is a 5-drop. But we do have plenty of card advantage here. I guess in that we drew some lands, we can play as spells, hopefully. We'd probably play the Stampede first as a land, just seeing as it's looking pretty useless right now. And we want to get up to 5 for the Shepherd, but we'd hold the takedown, probably wouldn't play it as land. I feel likely the next 5 cards we'll see at least one land. We definitely want to see at least one creature, that's for sure. Our opponent goes to 5, that's rough. Okay. So hopefully he's not coming out very aggressive here, which would definitely play into our hands the way our hand is looking. Okay. Blue-green, that's like one archetype where you can really catch up in cards. Like if he kicks a field research, there's plenty of card draw. I'm tempted to just subtle strike this Tangled Hedron and kill it, but we might do that if we don't draw something here. I'd rather have something to put a counter on, of course. It would slow him down, but I mean, he's already 2 cards behind. I think we just go to our turn. Yeah, I mean, we've got takedown. I don't think it's really worth it. Let's see what he gets out here. Bailoff. Okay, that's big. Now I think it's Outrider. If he plays a land and attacks we won't block, we'll take 6, which sucks. Sure. Which sucks, but on the following turn we can bind this, or we could subtle strike this, put a counter on this, and bind this. Oh, he's going to copy the Bailoff. That's good. But does he play land? He does not. So if he plays a land and attacks, let's say, we would take a huge hit. So I think it's safer to just bind this Bailoff. I don't think it makes a difference if we target the rogue that copied the Baloth, does it? Hmm. I guess so. This could be more powerful if he brings it back from his graveyard, I suppose. Copy something else. There's field research. Told you there was ways for him to get back into this game. Nectar Pot. Okay. We could 2-for-1 ourselves here, but I don't think it's worth it. I think we just take 6. Yeah. Now we'll kill this 4-Hedron after it's given him tons of value. I don't know why we took so long. Like, we didn't have any creatures that before turn 4 to put counters on. He's already got tons of value from the yeah, not great. Do we start swinging here and just play the Shepherd? Now that we have Zoth consumption, I think that's good. Let's start dealing some damage. We are an aggro deck after all. I feel like I missed an attack there at some point. I probably should have put a counter on the outright and then attacked with it into those 2 Baloth. Or at least 1 Baloth. Needs a life. Trigger on the Baloth. Yeah. And a Roost of Drakes. That's horrible. Another way for him to get back into this game. But he doesn't have a good block for either of our creatures. I think we're taking 6 here. A nice one. And now I think we'll Zoth consumption, just to make it absolutely clear he does not want to race us. Yeah, for a low curve aggro deck, you don't want to be playing creatures until not play any creatures before turn 4. That was really rough. If he finds more stuff to Drake to kick the Roost here, we could be in trouble, but it looks like we're going to get another attack with our Shepherd with just 1 Drake in play. So basically, free damage, we'll take it. But wow, he's gaining a lot of life with these Nectar Pots. And he's going to swing now. With 1 Nectar Pot and a Thought. That's probably a good attack, makes sense. Jumps. Roost of Drakes. Such a busted card. Easily better than almost every rare. So he just jumps with a Nectar Pot and takes 3 here. Okay. We don't need to play the lands. Is there any reason to play it? I suppose if we draw something, but if we draw something, we can still play the land. Yeah, it's not worth playing. Let's just hold the cards. Trigger, trigger. Yeah, that's not happening anymore. Sorry, brah. Had enough of this Baloth. We'll take 1. Ooh, we could bounce the Stampede now. Sweet. All right, unless something drastically changes here, it looks like another win for the good guys. It's not often you beat Rooster Drakes. I would love for that to happen. Okay, so he's going to kill our Shepherd. We can respond with Takedown here and save it, I think. So, yeah. Good game. Okay, we are into game 7. We are 6-0, going for the clean sweep. We've got 3 cracks at the boss. These should be the hardest games for you players out there who are not familiar with how the matchmaking works in best of one. Basically, it's going to match us up with people that are close to our rank. We're gold, this guy's silver. It's also going to try to match you up with people who have similar records in tournaments. So if we're 6-0, it's going to try to match us up with someone who has a similar record in their draft. So these games will hopefully be good. Let's keep definitely dropping the Stampede on turn 1 as our only white source up against red. Could be aggro versus aggro here. We haven't really had any close shaves. I mean, these games have been fairly straightforward, fairly easy wins. This deck has really performed well. Now we have a nice 2-drop into Wizard, into Blood Priest, drain for 3. Yeah, baby. And he is red-white, but doesn't play a 2-drop. Interesting. He does have an effect here, though. So it could be Spikefield Hazard, I'm thinking. Let's see if we eat a Spikefield Hazard here. There it is. All right, so now I think we drop another Sellsword and just play the takedown as a land. We need to get up to this Shepherd. We do still have a removal spell. I think, well, at the same time, we could play the Adept. Maybe it uses more mana. Try to hit another land, and then we don't have to play the takedown. There we go. The takedown could be particularly good against his deck. I mean, if he's red-white aggro, he's going to have lots of tiny creatures. We could Sellsword and then Blood Priest next on the following turn, which would be a pretty sweet turn. Especially if he doesn't play a good block on our Adept. Royal Eruption now, okay. We love Thwart the Grave. We have yet to draw it in this tournament. And he still hasn't played a creature. Wow. Okay. I think I'm actually going to pump the Blood Priest here. I feel he has like some sort of another instant effect that could kill our Sellsword. So let's put it on the Blood Priest. Just to make sure if one of these dies, we're going to deal as much damage as possible. Pressure point. For a red-white deck, he hasn't played a single creature yet. Just 3 interactions. Even in an aggro deck, I don't think I would ever run Pressure Point. This is just a terrible card. It's not something you see when once you get up to, Diamond Mythic level. You just don't see this card at all. It's not very good. The rest of these cards are good. Akiri's good. And Scavenge Blade on Akiri. Wow. Okay, so the way Akiri works, whenever he attacks with an equipped creature, he gets to draw a card. You can also equip something and then make it indestructible by unattaching the equipment from him. And look what we drew towards. So I think he could have, let's say, the 1-mana white trick would perfectly fit his deck from what we've seen here. So if we use Takedown, he could respond with that. I think I just want to Deadly Alliance it. It's going to cost him some serious mana to re-equip it. to re-equip the Scavenge Blade onto something. Also, if he does have the tactics, it's not going to do anything for him now. We're getting in for 8. Why can't I think of the 1-mana white trick's name? Righteous, no. Something or other. Who knows? Well, okay, that's a good takedown target. You could still have the trick, which would cause the takedown to fizzle. I probably wouldn't mind any of these creatures trading with that, but now we've drawn all this back. Alright, let's put it on the Sellsword, I suppose. That should be game, even if he blocks one of these. Yeah, good game. Okay, that went really smoothly. Like, we didn't even have any close shaves. Like, this deck just absolutely destroyed everyone we ran into very quickly. Tons of card advantage. Like, playing 18 lands, I think, was definitely the right play. We never missed land drops. Like, we had a couple games where we operated with maybe 4 land. But that was perfectly fine because our curve was very low, very reasonable. I'm just putting all the modal lands over here. So yeah, we were running 9 black, 9 white sources, which was perfect. The Raptors were absolutely huge, bouncing these modal lands when we played them early. We had all the removal we needed. We were dealing so much damage. These Sellswords got a lot of work done. Even the Cleric, the Kitesail Cleric, when we played it as a creature on turn 1, got work done. And we used it to end the game as well by tapping down creatures and kicking it. Acquisitions Expert got that mythic white modal land out of our opponent's hand in one game. I think that's the only game we drew it. It was sweet though. Subtle Strike was good for us even. Farsight Depth was fine. Good removal. The Disciple, I guess it worked out well for us. I still don't think this is a particularly great card. I mean, if you play it late, they can sacrifice anything they want. So they could sacrifice something that's binded, for example. So it's just, it worked out well for us. But I would have honestly probably cut it for a really solid 2 or 3 drop. But we just didn't have any more to put in our deck. I mean, there's nothing else here we wanted to play. It was kind of, I used the word heresy, I believe, to describe not playing Core Celebrants in a Cleric's deck. I wouldn't even call this a Cleric's deck, really. It didn't really have, like, the synergies that you find from Clerics. Like, the only real synergy was that Expedition Healers get lifelink when you have Clerics. And that's it. Like, this was not a Clerics deck. It was just a black-white solid beatdown deck. So, very happy with how it went. Hope you enjoyed the draft. Thanks for watching.